And we are back, and it is time for the ElseViews. Now, I took a little liberties here, and I picked two of my things that we're going to have views on. Mainly because I knew we were planning some special stuff here, so I'm like, okay, we're to keep it about the same time. Let's do this. So I've got two, and me and Corey are going to talk about his because I've been watching as well. But I'm gonna start first with the TV show that I'm watching. It's called Eat the World with Emeril Lagasse. This is an Amazon original, and it's a really short, like British style, in length. It's only 6 episodes for the first season. Each episode is about a half hour, and this is in my opinion, the reinvention, or getting ready for the new age of travel films, of travel TV shows, because this each episode you have Emeril going to a place and either meeting a chef there or going with the chef. Like episode 2 was the Shanghai soup dumpling, where him and Mario Batali go to Shanghai in order to, they do this journey of finding the most iconic Shanghai soup dumpling. And it was just brilliant at how they go through. It made me go, okay, I want to go and do this stuff. I want to travel the world and go try the Shanghai dumplings and all that. And then that episode also made me like, I could never make a dumpling that thin. Like they said in the place, because they ended up doing the highest rated, because there's like this rating thing for the dumplings, the most popular, and then the original. And the original, they said that their slowest person that it takes them to make a dumpling, they make a dumpling in 10 seconds. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? 10 seconds and you got a dumpling made, and you're the slow one. I'd have been like
Yeah, but
15, 30.
picture if that was your job and that's what you do all day. Like we always go back to the I Love Lucy episode where she and Ethel were doing the bonbons coming across the factory. And it's a great comedic bit on the show. But if that's what you do, if that's your whole kind of career, and that's what it is you go to places like this, and this is people's livelihoods, but this is kind of like their art. This is what they do, not just for a living, but because it's their lives. I could easily see that 10 seconds feels a little long to some of the old hats on the line there.
Well, because this place that they're talking about, it's been in their family for, I think they said 160 years, and each dumpling has 18 pleats in it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. But each episode is like this. There was one episode where they're in Italy, where Emeril and this lady, I cannot think of her name, but they're in Italy, and they're getting ready to try the perfect pizza. And it's by this guy named Franco Pepe, and he lives in this small little area. His restaurant's in this small little village, and he gets the best ingredients from all over the world, all over the area around him. So like he goes down to the small coastal village to get anchovies, and he goes to this farm to get buffalo milk to make mozzarella cheese with, and he gets these olives, and this olive oil from these other people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such the care he puts into making these pizzas. It's like, of course he makes the best pizzas in there, man. And
I mean, I already have fighting words because anchovies and olives. Like, what? Are you going to throw pineapple on there too and just go for the trifecta bullshit? Because like,
what the fuck's wrong with pineapple on pizza?
It's a crime.
No,
I'm just
teasing. Awesome. But I mean, each episode they do, like, there's different chefs that go with him, and it's brilliant. I really enjoyed it. It was what I watched.
This is a Amazon original. This is something
Yeah.
strictly through them.
Yeah, this is Amazon Prime original. And honestly, I stumbled upon this because I was looking one day. I'm like, well, I want to find something. I think it was actually yesterday. I think it was yesterday when I was doing laundry. It's like I want to find something yesterday that I don't have to get fully involved in. Like I'm 2 seasons behind on Transparent. I'm probably three by now. I've only seen the pilot to um Man in the High Castle. I haven't seen any of Bosch. I'm a couple episodes in on Good Girls Revolt and all that stuff. But a lot of those shows are hour-long shows, and it's like you sort of have to sit there and give it all the attention you need or you can. They're half-hour episodes. I mean, it's like I'm sitting
Yeah, and
there. Go ahead.
honestly, I almost chose for my show this week Top Chef, which I've fallen back into this season because it's so relaxing. It's a really good show. Out of those styles of shows, it's easily to me one of the premier ones. But it's just I feel relaxed when I watch it. I don't get antsy. I don't get worked up. I don't have to pay 100% attention. But every time I do, I feel rewarded by it. That's the reason why the Cooking Network is a success. Is for a long time it was because I'm going to learn how to fucking cook from this. Now I don't know that that's a lot of what the Cooking Network is. It's or food TV isn't, but the cooking channel might be.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be able to just kind of lose yourself in and see somebody make something and especially see an expert speak on it.
No, yeah, definitely. And that's where it's sort of like I where I enjoy like the Anthony Carbone or not Anthony Carboni, Anthony Bourdain's like No Reservations or I'm blanking on the name of the CNN one, Parts Unknown. With those, it's a little too. I'm going to say this in the kindest words, but it's a little too up his ass. Like too like this is where I go when when I'm in Seoul, Korea, and all this. Where with Emeril, yeah, you had the guest chefs who were with him, who were like, talking about, well, one of them, he's probably, I think he's younger than me. He is actually the owner of Mission Chinese restaurant in New York, and like he talked about how he grew up watching Emeril, and then Emeril turned around and introduced him to Shep Gordon, who got the whole celebrity chef thing really going, and all that, and it's brilliant.
I will warn a guest that if you were up Anthony Bourdain's ass, you would probably still get a better taste in your mouth than 90% of the quality food out there that you've probably experienced in your life, and certainly better than anything Guy Fieri makes.
I was waiting for the Guy Fieri joke. I'm like, Guy Fieri joke, Guy Fieri joke. But no, yeah, I mean, but you know what I mean? Like he's with Anthony Bourdain, he's more.
He's well, that's gonna sound terrible. An acquired taste.
Yeah.
You either dig on Anthony Bourdain or you don't. And we're at a Bourdain household here. My wife was into his show for a long time, and I certainly have nothing but great respect for the man. He's not my go-to like show or chef personally, but I'm an ultimate Brownite, and if you're a brownie, you just it's a different kind of show.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, so that's
hopefully
my first
medicinal brownies.
There's my first show. Corey, you want to talk a little about yours, or?
Yeah, I have to talk about it. It's only 2 episodes in, but I talked, I think, quite extensively about the show coming up as we were looking ahead of what the season was going to bring us. And this is the show that I was most excited about. And I can't say that I'm disappointed. And that show is Legion, the FX show, which is a show about mutants, but not necessarily relating to the X-Men. Excuse me. At least so far. But I was surprised at the amount of mutant activity that we got at the end of the pilot. Because it went from being all of the weirdness and things that I expected the show to be, and the colorfulness and the dancing and the interesting characters and the intrigue and all of that. And then all of a sudden we got a straight up like superpower fight scene happening, more of an escape scene in the first episode. at its close. And I'm not going to say a lot about it because I really can't. At this point in time, the story is very deep. You keep seeming to go into deeper and deeper section of David's head, be they memories, be they dreams, be they conversations with dead people, be they conversations with living people that just aren't anywhere near him at that point in time. It is very intense, but just so kind of magical
Yeah.
in the story that it's giving you. The characters are good, but the actors who play the characters, I think, are really what's tremendous about it. Getting the introduction of Jean Smart at the end of the pilot and seeing her in the second episode has already uplifted what was already an incredible cast. Aubrey Plaza is fucking killing it in this. It's so funny because I've been watching a lot of Parks and Rec in syndication lately, and to see her play that character, who was a very distinct character, and you just kind of assume that that's who Aubrey Plaza is. And if you've seen her other stuff, you kind of go, oh yeah, I got a good idea of who Aubrey Plaza is. Then you see her in this, and it's like, holy shit, that is just fucking great. I am in total love with this show, which is not to say that I can say it's a success. Although I hear a lot of people saying great things about it, including the creators of the character, Bill Sienkiewicz, Chris Claremont, have both said some amazing things about like how proud they are of the show. A lot of other comic people are very into it. I just know that I'm enwrapped with the story so far. Yep. We'll have to see where it winds up to see how well it all like comes out in the end of like, did they tell a great story? Did they just tell an okay story so well that you were happy to be along for the ride? I'm not here to judge yet. I'm just here to say, if you haven't checked it out yet, maybe do some of those brownies I was just talking about and check out Legion on FX. I feel like you'll get more out of it than I probably would, because my brownies are mostly Betty Crocker.
No, I will add that too. I will sort of emphasize on that, because when I was watching the pilot, I've seen both the episodes, but when I was watching the pilot, I'm like, wait, what is going on? So I went on the Wikipedia page and I saw on there that the creator of the show, and I believe he's also the showrunner, he had talked about because the show is through David's point of view, that they are intentionally making it
make you trip balls.
Yeah, make you trip balls, because he's such an unreliable narrator and all that. And I'm like, that's actually a great point, because you go from, it's like, oh, this is the 70s to, but wait, that's like technology that you would have today, or that's like, near future tech that we have here, and stuff like that. So I'm like, wait, what's going, okay, yeah. My brain melts as I'm watching this TV, and because David Haller actually exists or something, and he's just taken over my mind.
At this point in time, I'm not really exactly sure that he doesn't, or that I do. That's the kind of show this is.
Yeah, but no, and it is cool. I am
according to Elon Musk, all of that could be true.
Yeah. Yeah, I am truly enjoying it, and it's. So I will ask you this, as a curious person who, because the creator of this also created the FX show Fargo, or he was a showrunner in Fargo. Would you say, if a person were coming into Legion, that they would, and they enjoyed it, that they would be able to get into Fargo?
I have to emphasize the fact that I was a huge fan of Fargo. The first season I liked a lot. The second season is, to me, some of the best TV that there's ever been. So I am biased as fuck about Fargo. And Jean Smart was in the second season of Fargo. Rachel, who's playing David's girlfriend on the show, was from the second season of Fargo. I came at Legion knowing that Fargo 2 and Fargo season 1 were things that I loved. So I cause it kind of was like the audience that they weren't going to have to earn. Fargo is a very different show.
Okay.
Fargo doesn't connect to the weird in the same ways that Legion does. Fargo is not necessarily straightforward and certainly has some oddity to it, but in the end of the day, you can watch Fargo and not feel like you've just been shroomed. Legion's a different animal. But I
Yeah.
certainly think that if you are in love with Legion for the art of the storytelling more than the story, and for the beautiful shots and for the great character work and everything, you would definitely enjoy the Fargo series on FX. One
Okay.
that I hope doesn't get sidelined by the fact that Legion looks to be achieving some success. I want to see both shows continue to happen.
No, yeah, definitely. No, you're helping me out with that because in case you haven't figured out, I was that person I was referring to in this hypothetical because I do like how they're telling the story and the visuals and all that. And I think the part of the reason why I never got into Fargo itself was because of the fact that I hadn't seen the movie and all that.
And believe me, when I started watching this first season of Fargo, I thought it was going to just be the movie over again, which did not make me feel like it was necessary television. But
Mhm.
it's not. It's not the movie, and it also has a very different feel from the movie as you go through it. Whereas the Fargo movie is great. And don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, I'm not trying to undersell the movie. I'm certainly not trying to undersell the Coen brothers, who don't give a shit about what I think anyways, because fuck it, they're artists. They are
Yeah.
brilliant. But the show deviates from the movie in a lot of ways and is not actually about the same characters or the same story. It just becomes more apparent as it goes along. And the first season is very, very good. Please don't let me undersell the first season by telling you how brilliant the second season is. It's just that after you see the second season, it's hard to look at the first season in the same respect because it just elevates so much.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, definitely. All right. Anything you want to add about Legion or Fargo?
Uh no, I wish there was more I could say, and I'm also glad that there's not. I know that there is a rumor about a character that we keep seeing flashes of in the show and who it might be in relation to the comics, which is, I think, probably bullshit, but also very interesting and exciting in a way. Um, and if you want a little bit of spoiler towards that, although it's probably not a spoiler at all, that would be Mojo from the X-Men comics. There is a character that David keeps seeing that is kind of a bloated, yellowish hued creature.
Oh,
That
the Mojoverse.
yes, uh,
Okay.
it's just speculation, and we love to speculate on the internet. It's kind of like what we're there for, besides yelling "Hargen, Flargen, Margen, Margen" at people. It's intriguing. I would love to see what they could do with a character like Mojo in this, especially because Mojo is someone who watches TV all the time, makes shows, puts people into his programs, and it would kind of like third wall break us in a way that Deadpool can only dream about if this whole thing was actually Mojo controlling it and controlling us as people who are watching the show. I find that fucking fascinating. I doubt that's actually what's happening, but wouldn't fucking surprise me if they blew my mind that way. And
Oh
Gregor
yeah,
silent.
definitely. Oh, because Gregor may or may not be tweeting something you just said off through the ElseNerds account.
Okay.
But no, so yeah, that's I didn't even catch it. I'm like, wait, Mojo, because I was thinking the other guy that doesn't really say anything in the first episode. That's
The yellow-eyed guy.
yeah, the yellow guy. I was thinking he might be. I'm like, wait, could he be what's the not is it not Mastermind? What's the guy who like negates powers?
Oh, geez. There was Leech.
I think
There was Artie and
I'm either
Leech
thinking
who were
Leech or
characters.
Mastermind. One of the
Well,
two.
Mastermind was a mental person who would control people. He's what made Jean Grey turn into uh,
Yeah.
the Phoenix or the Dark
Uh,
Phoenix.
yeah, it was something like that. Like I was thinking Mastermind, but I wasn't thinking necessarily for power leeching. But I was like, could it be power leeching too? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out as I'm processing all this stuff, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna skip install and we're gonna be like, all right, let's talk about my show now or my movie now.
Yeah.
um, but no, yeah, definitely check out Legion on FX. It airs Wednesdays at 10, I believe, on FX. Mine is a movie. My other one is a movie. It is this movie, actually, as a matter of fact. Look at me going all legit and actually buying physical things that I will be talking about. But no, I this is Justice League Dark, or as I like to call it, the pilot for the animated series of Constantine. Um, because this does,
Because Constantine's had such great luck with pilots before.
yeah. Well, because this is the other thing that I found really cool, and I was going to do the research, or not the research, but the pull up the page beforehand. But as you know, Matt Ryan is in here again, is reprising his role as Constantine. Um, but did you know that there was also um another person from Constantine who is in here as well?
I did not. I can't remember anybody else from Constantine.
The He was in the first two episodes of the TV series. He played Richie.
Okay.
Um, yeah, get to his name. Jeremy Davies. He's in here as well. And I'm like, it didn't click until I'm like, wait a minute. Richie, isn't he already in Constantine? He was also in Lost.
Yeah,
And
Jeremy Davies has been in a lot of stuff. He was in Justified. He's a
yep.
one of those guys. Always looks a little weird, but picks some incredible parts.
But no, yeah. So this is the latest in the DC animated movies. And this again is another good one. This is another movie that I really enjoyed. As is the tradition of me reviewing these movies, I try to give the people, um especially the parents, a is this kid friendly or not. There are some movies like The Killing Joke or Assault on Arkham, or I think there's another one that I'm like, no, this is not kid friendly at all. This one leans, this is borderline, because where there's no gratuitous violence or sex scenes, or anything really sexy time like that. There is a bit of language. I mean, what else would you expect from a Manchester, England bastard such as John Constantine? But so there is quite a bit of language in here. But I mean, again, the voice casting is over. I'm gonna say this because I've been thinking about this. Jason O'Mara, who plays Bruce Wayne and Batman in here, he's I mentioned this during for my review of Justice League War, that it sounds like he's just doing his American accent, and he's also Director Mace on Agents of Shield. He now sounds different enough, like he's doing his own version of Batman, not just doing an American accent sort of thing. And I so love that. The voice talent on here is really great. Up and down the board. All the people playing, all doing the voices for all the characters. Nicholas Turturro as Boston Brand, aka Deadman, Ray Chase as Jason Blood and Etrigan the Demon, Roger Cross as Dr. Alec Holland, Swamp Thing, John Stewart, and Green Lantern. All the way down to Alfred Molina playing Destiny in here. It's so cool to hear all these voices. And the story is really cool too. I mean, I'm beating around the bush on the story because Beatmaster hasn't seen it yet. But the basic story is there's this thing that is making people see demons, but they're other people. So, for example, if I'm looking at Corey's picture in the Google Hangout window like I am doing right now, I wouldn't see Corey. I would see a demon.
Which is fair.
Yeah. But so much so to where like I would be attacking him in that way.
Which is also fair.
Yeah. That's just a Thursday night. Um, so the Justice League are trying to figure out what's happening because this is popping up all over. So Batman enlists Constantine in this, John Constantine in this, because he knows of his magical abilities, his affinity for the mystical arts, and so they go around to recruiting people. They recruit Zatanna first, which I actually enjoyed the fact, and I'm curious to see, and I'll probably check out later on the special features how they did her, um, how
Backwards
they did
speak.
her, yeah, the backward speak. If they wrote it out and she said it backwards, or if they recorded her going forwards and then flipped it. And also, I will point out on Voodoo, fuck you guys with your captioning for saying inherent speaking in another language when she's doing her backwards speak. Because how hard is it when she does this? The first thing she does, she's raising elephants as actual like stage magician, and it's like she's like elephants rise or whatever, but backwards. How hard is it to just say spell it backwards? It's not fucking rocket science here, man.
I believe the language is technically called Devoian, after Belle Biv DeVoe, because she smacks it up, flips it, and reverses it.
This is true.
Oh no.
But no, I mean it's a great story. This is a great setup for more Justice League Dark movies. With like this group, and really, really good writing with the stories done by Ernie Atbacker and J.M. DeMatteis, and it's directed by Jay Olivia. And I mean, yeah, and it stays pretty true to to the comics for a lot of the parts.
And it's involved in the overarching DC animated universe right now, as far as their films go, because we see Jerry O'Connell gets to guest as Superman, Rosario Dawson guests as Wonder Woman. So they're trying to involve people who have been in the other films as much as possible to make it feel cohesive to things that you've already seen. I've seen previews for the Teen Titans Judas Contract animated film that's coming out, and I was surprised, and I'll be honest, a little disappointed, because it has to do with a lot of the young Titans who weren't from the original storyline from the comics, but that took place in the 80s, and at that point in time there was only one Robin, and it was Dick Grayson, and it shows him changing over to Nightwing, and this is going to have Dick Grayson as well as
Damian Wayne.
Damian Wayne. Yeah, it's
it's
going to
Judas
be a different
contract.
take.
Yeah, the Judas Contract, which I'm assuming is based off of an older book, if you're bringing that up.
Yeah, I mean it's the seminal Teen
Okay.
Titans storyline from the 80s. The Judas Contract is to Teen Titans what the Dark Phoenix saga is to the X-Men.
Okay. Because this will be a sequel for the Teen Titans, because they had the Justice League versus the Teen Titans, which was essentially a Teen Titans origin thing here, where they had, it's in the same universe. You have the same actor playing Damian or voicing Damian Wayne. Jason O'Mara is in this as Batman. I believe Jerry O'Connell, Rosario Dawson, Carrie Payton, I believe, is voicing Cyborg. Or no, it's not Carrie Payton, it's the other guy. I just wish it was Carrie Payton, because fuck, he's Cyborg to me. And King Ezekiel. But it was very much that same thing where you had Nightwing, or they flipped it. Instead of like they're all teens, Starfire is the leader, or is the leader slash teacher of the Teen Titans. It's almost like X-Men in that regard. Like she's Professor Xavier, or she's you know Storm in the later like now books and stuff like that. And then the other ones are the New Mutants coming in here, with Blue
Right.
Beetle
It's
and
closer to
Raven and all
the
that.
continuity of what they did with the Young Justice TV series, which is
Yeah.
making its way back. Like I said, it's fine. It's just that when we heard several years ago that they were doing a Judas Contract adaptation, we assumed it was an actual adaptation of the original storyline with the original characters and everything, just done for film. And obviously, that's not what we're getting. So it's not necessarily bait and switch. It's one of those things that if you're an old school fan, this maybe isn't necessarily what you were looking for, but again, you have that story. That story existed. That story that you know backwards and forwards, and got to go through all the reveals and stuff. We get to see something that is new and a different take, and maybe be surprised, and maybe get something else that we love, if not as much. It just concurrently. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. No, you can pick up Justice League Dark in the shops. I happen to get this. This is the steelbook version, so there's no actual back, so I can't read what the special features are. But I got this at Target, actually giving also a cheap pot to where I go to work and stuff.
Or like anything else that we report on every week, we have links in the show notes that if you purchase it through our Amazon store, it will help out the network a little bit, help out Galactic
Exactly.
Network.
There was a different version I sort of wanted to get because it had the John Constantine toy with it, and I'm like, sort of want the toy. Sort of, they're like,
that toy will wake up in the middle of the night and not necessarily kill you in your sleep, but call you a wanker.
Yeah, call me a gobshite or some other English term that I wish I paid way more attention to British TV than what I do currently to come up with, or could just be like call some friends like, hey, like Daryl, I need a British swear, like insult me in British, come on. But yeah, so
it's the same thing as insulting you in English, just with worse teeth.
Corey said it, not me. So that is going to do it for the ElseViews. We will be right back.